to complete that. And yeah, I felt good. I was really good in the whoops. Turns were really good. So just felt on today. And that's, yeah, you got to win on those days.
And Maximize, you did. Congratulations, Chase Sexton. We'll open it up to questions from the media. Kellen.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. I want to get both Chase and Cooper your perspective on the early pass in the race, because for you, Chase, it seemed like it was kind of like you just sniped really quickly. I don't know if you even were thinking of setting up the pass there. And then, Coop, your perspective on it. Did you know that he would try to make a quick pass like that, and did you expect a little bit of contact too?
I could feel him for sure, and he was coming in, and yeah, I mean, he wanted the pass, and you never know. I mean, it's for a championship, right? So it's always in the back of your mind. I think, yeah, he you know, I think listening, he thought I cross jumped him in early, and I get the, you know, frustration and stuff. So, you know, you gotta expect it. You kind of are mindful of it. But yeah, just good to not go down, and then. Yeah, I mean, he rode away from us, but yeah, it was good to lead us a few laps for sure.
Yeah, for me, I was just really just fired up from the first lap. I just feel like it was a little dangerous. I think he got cross jumped maybe a little bit by the guy in the front, and then I was in third and got the worst end of it. And luckily, I was able to see it and not crash. But I just was kind of seeing right at that point. I wanted to get to the lead, and yeah, like I said, I knew I could run some good laps. So if I get out front and break away, that was my goal.
Scott
Yarjo, Moto Now. Justin, our team tactics talked at all about, obviously Cooper needs the points, they're super valuable. Is there ever a situation in which you would have made the pass knowing how valuable the points are to Cooper, to Webb?
No, I mean, I kind of try to respect the championship battle going on, and you know, when there's two guys, you know, duking it out for a championship, you don't want to be the guy that's, you know, intervening with it. My speed was really good tonight. I think it would have been a little bit of a different story if I started, you know, even, you know, anywhere up there. So it was definitely frustrating to ride that well and be that far back. I had to make a lot of passes, and on a track that's really tough to pass on, especially with the dry conditions out there. It definitely was challenging, but pretty proud of myself for the, you know, staying focused, staying charging, and yeah, getting up to the podium.
Jamie
Guido, Vital MX. I'm going to break the rules just real quick because I have a question, but I want to follow up with what you said, Coop, about him thinking you cross-jumped him. Did you guys discuss that post-race, or did he say it on the podium?
No, I mean, I think like he said, Malk had the whole shot. Everyone's going left to get their line. He kind of left on me. I went left, and that put us all at risk for sure. And I mean, it's unfortunate because it's, you know, I don't want to do that. I hate getting cross jump. I think it's bullshit. So obviously it's not intentional by any means. And I think we're trying to make such quick work early, and it was already a section, like I clipped that and would get cattywampus all day. So I think all of us kind of, probably besides Chase, you know, we're really struggling with that jump in general. So like I said, I didn't mean to. Obviously I get in the moment, and hopefully he knows I would never do that on purpose, you know.
All right, my actual question is for you too, Coop. I did feel like you were struggling a little bit tonight in the corners. Was I seeing that wrong, or did you feel like you were a little?
Yeah, I mean, I was off, right? Fuck, it was a tough day. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can say a million things, but definitely not feeling great. But just in general, my corners all day were not good. Yeah, we need to work on that for sure.
Johnny
Hopper with MX Unfiltered. Cooper, so in the heat race, I saw you flinch. Was that intentional to try to mess up Sexton? And are those tactics potentially going to continue moving into Utah?
Yeah, I wanted to see if he was just counting the gate or not. But he didn't take the bait.
And then Sexton, because we saw a lot of sparks in the 250 class, you're only 9 points. Are you willing to potentially bar bang to win this championship at the final round?
I mean, it is for a championship, but I'm not going to do anything dumb. Like even tonight, like for me, that's pretty aggressive for my standards on my part. And I've definitely cross jumped Coop a few times, so it's not like I haven't done it. I was just fired up. I mean, we all get emotional in the moment, so yeah, like I said, I think he got crossed over on, and then for me, I was just in a bad spot. But we've all had it done to each other, and it's not great. But yeah, that's why I was just emotional in that moment. But for me, I'm not a dirty rider. I try and just do what I can and see what happens behind me. That's my goal. But yeah, tonight that's about as aggressive as it gets for me.
Dan.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports for Justin. We talked a couple of weeks ago about the importance of points and the importance of being a good teammate. So it's kind of a two-part question. If that had been for the lead, would it have been different? And now that you've got back-to-back podiums and your third podium of the season, how close do you think you are to getting that win, that first win next week?
Yeah, I feel like just my starts are good all day, and then main event they've been bad lately, and you just can't give those guys any advantage off the beginning of the main. I definitely need to be at least with them to stay with them. It's they're riding great, and it's not easy to make up time on these guys. So I felt like it was a really tough race for me physically. I had to push pretty hard to bridge the gap once I got into fifth, fourth to go after Malcolm and Coop there at the end, and it definitely wasn't easy. I was pretty spent already, so had to really dig deep and keep clicking off the laps that I was running to get there. So there wasn't really any time for a break there, and I feel like I had great speed. I just I got to put myself in better position off the gate in the main, and that's on me. So got one more though.
And if that had been for the pass had been for the lead, would you have been a little more aggressive?
On who?
On Cooper.
For
I hope
win.
so.
Yeah. I mean, by the time I got to third, it was white flag. Like I was almost being defensive with the lappers, and like I had to watch when I was squaring up because I just passed Malcolm. I felt him. He was definitely there the last lap. I felt him creep up on us in the whoops, and I felt the crowd behind us. So I really took my mind off even, trying to get Coop there at the end, and more just trying to like watch my back because I knew he was going to, try to make something happen for the podium in those last couple turns. And yeah, definitely, felt his presence there. So it was definitely a tough last lap.
Adam.
Adam from Track Talkers for Justin Cooper. Dan, you kind of stole my question, but anyways, what really made the time up at the end? Was it fitness or was it lines that you were taking where you made up all that speed?
My lines were good. I found like I got into a better flow around halfway when I kind of got some clear track. I was definitely fighting with a lot of guys there in the first half, and once I was able to kind of move around on the track and find new lines, I felt like I was, the track was getting easier for me, and was just rolling my turns really well. And I think the biggest thing was just keeping my pace. I'd like to think that my lap times are pretty consistent there at the end and not really dropping off. And with the lap traffic, I just kind of kept my head down all the way to the end, and I think that's what made the difference.
Michael.
Thanks, Haley. Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. This will be for Cooper. Can you take us through from the time that you got passed for the lead, not the pass itself, but what that situation was like knowing that Malcolm was making time, the pressure that he was putting on you, and then maybe the last 5 minutes when Justin comes in and is a good tail gunner, so hey, he's able to make speed, but is he going to be able to get Malcolm? Knowing the situation, just your health today, how was those 15 minutes?
It was tough, man. It really was. I mean, I tried to latch on to Chase, but as he said, he was really on it today, and it was hard to do. And I felt like I rode a great race. Like I felt really consistent. My lap time felt good. I feel like I hit the whoops solid all day. And like you said, the few of the turns, I think I'll look back on a few of my lines. Like I could feel Justin those last few laps catch me in certain areas. Me and Malk pretty much stayed the same the whole race. And like you said, maybe one lap he'd get me here and there, but I knew it was going to be really hard to pass. I was imagining Malcolm was probably a little bit better in the whoops, just, knowing Malk and stuff like that. But I felt like maybe the rest of the track I could get back away. But yeah, we were, at least on my board, we were pretty much identical every lap. So I knew, he's at Eldon's. I knew he wasn't going to fade. I knew he was going to be battling. I knew, these guys are battling for third in the championship now, which is a new battle. So there's a lot of money at stake. There's podiums at stake. So I was just trying to go as hard as I could for as long as I could. And like I said, at the end there, I was really holding on and expecting a fight. I think like Justin said, I was ready to ride a wide bike for that second place for sure.
Hey, if I could ask a follow-up, the bike was steaming when you got done. Was that just you pushing it to the limit?
Probably so. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely riding my clutch probably more than I have in a while. And it's tough, this altitude, like we we have to make a lot of changes on the engine, and I think it was something that for me, you had to make adjustments, and it's not running like it normally does, so you're maybe riding it a little different, or in that case, I'm clutching it more just to get some more oomph out of it, right? So more than likely that was why.
I'd like to bring our online media into the conversation, starting with Alex Gobert.
Yeah, thanks, Haley. Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. For Cooper, obviously just the one round left in the championship. How would you kind of reflect upon this season so far in comparison to other years that you've won the championship? Not that it's done yet, but just up until this point.
It's been a lot different, man. It really has. It's been, I feel like, more, of a head-on battle. Like in 2021, me and Kenny really went at it. And then the last two, though, I had a bit of a breather. I went into both years with like 20-point leads into the last round. So nowhere near that this year. And it's been a dogfight, and it's been, every weekend is different, right? And it's been good, though. I mean, it's what you live for, and I feel like I've just been very consistent this year. Obviously, I think I've still been riding really well. Like, I think I'm still riding the best I probably ever have, even compared to those championship years. And obviously we know, like, in theory, I feel like I get better, but you don't ever know. I feel like we're all riding at such a high level, so I think just the level has truly risen. And I think back then there was nights where I kind of knew no matter what I could get third or second or stuff like that, to where it's not like that these days. It's hard just to get a top five in the class, and there's been some injuries, as we know, but overall I think we're all riding at an elite level that we've never ridden at before, in my opinion.
Brent.
Yeah, Brent Bowser, Whiskey Throttle Media. My question's for Chase and Coop. I feel like, anything that happens on the track with you guys, people are trying to pinpoint, try to create some drama, but I feel like mutual respect between you two is there. And going in the last round, there's going to be no craziness going on. Just kind of talk about how, the respect between you both, and obviously you both want to win this championship, but is the rivalry really what, the media is trying to make it be?
I mean, I think it's just a championship rivalry, right? And it's good to have. I think, like we talk about all the time, we're not, friends by any means, but there's always a lot of respect, and we've raced each other for a long time now. And every year, the last 5 since he's been in the 450 class, he's been a contender, and myself included, right? So you have run-ins, you have heated stuff, and I'm emotional, he's emotional, and we both really want to win. And I'm sure when this is all over one day, we'll get along great. But for the time being, it's kind of like I say, it's business, right? You shake hands, you have respect, but you want to beat them, and vice versa. So, yeah, I think for me, I have a lot of respect for everyone. There's no one on this starting line that I don't respect, because it's such a gnarly sport, and it can change at any point. And we've all had highs and lows, and I've gone through a lot of highs and lows, and Chase has gone through a lot of highs and lows as well. So when you get two guys going head to head at the best I've been, and I would say the same for Chase, it's cool, and I think there should be a rivalry built up in the sense of, it's racing. It's not rainbows and butterflies all the time. There should be some emotion, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah, for me, I have a lot of respect for Coop. It's funny, I grew up riding Yamahas, so we'd always park together at like Loretta's and stuff like that. And I was on 85s, he was in the B class, and for me, I looked up to him, or I have looked up to him pretty much my whole racing career. So it is cool to battle him, and we've had some run-ins, obviously, but yeah, there's nothing but respect. And when you're going for a championship, it's you have to be rivals and you have to want to win, but you're not going to do anything blatant or stupid. So we both have respect for each other, and it is pretty cool to see where we've come from. And I just remember those days when I was racing 85, 9, 11. He was in the B class at Loretta's, and it's just pretty cool to see the journey from there. I mean,
We've got time for one more. Billy.
Hey guys, Billy Rainford, Direct Motocross. This will be kind of a follow-up there for Chase. You guys obviously have been having some fun with your finish line gestures. There have been like 2 or 3 of them now. the camera caught yours after you came off the track here, and it was you had like a two-move gesture going. I don't want to guess what you did there. Can you tell us what that gesture was?
Yeah, I pulled a little grenade move. I did it twice actually, but I kind of messed up the first time. So it was funny. Me and my buddies were sitting at the coffee shop this week, and we're like, man, like, or they were telling me you should do this, you should do that. Like, I'm like, dude, I got to worry I'm winning the race first, and then. So the last lap I was kind of thinking about what I was going to do. Coop seems that he has a new one every week, so I kind of have to follow that up. But yeah, that was the grenade.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you in Salt Lake City. Chase Sexton with his 15th career 450 Supercross win. Cooper Webb retaining that points lead, and Justin Cooper with his first back-to-back Premier Class podiums. And as you all know, our championship is winding down. Just one to go. Next Saturday, we'll go racing in Salt Lake City for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross finale. All right, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you our 250 West top three, the champion, Hayden Deegan, Julian Beaumer, and Garrett Marchbanks. Hayden, we'll start with you. You just completed the 250 trifecta of Pro Motocross Championship, Super Motocross Championship, and now this. How complete do you feel?
Yeah, this is really nice. You know, we got a small circle, and we work hard, we grind, and I know we have a lot of outside noise, but we stay locked in and get these championships. And yeah, man, I'm just in shock because now this is my fourth championship, and it's crazy to me. So it was nice ticking this one off.
Congratulations, Hayden. We'll bring in questions from the media. Adam?
Adam, Track Talkers. Okay, we got to go over, we were just talking hand gestures, and I seen a little too small after the finish line. First of all, who is that directed at? And then secondly, after the finish, it kind of looked like your whole squad was maybe telling you that you won the championship. Take us through that moment and your feelings there.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do the too small. It's not to anybody, but I was just sort of like, you know, I'm the top dog here, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, and had to do it. I got the win, so, and then, yeah, I get back to, or whatever, and they're like, we don't know if you won it, and I'm like asking my team manager, he's like, I don't know if you won it, and the AMA was looking into the rules more to make sure I won it because I had a 25-point lead, and the rules state that I won it, so it took a little while to figure it out, but a little stressful, but we got it.
Awesome. Congrats.
Johnny with MX Unfiltered. Deegan, the elephant in the room is, do you like to win that way? And we know that Cole Davies had a 2-win streak going on, and it looked like he potentially could have gotten a third one, and the championship was getting tighter. So do you mind explaining? Because on the podium, there's a lot of guys that were booing, and then they were cheering. There's just a lot of confusion.
Yeah, as much as I'm friends with Cole and stuff, when it's race time and this is $500,000, this is a new Lambo, you know, so it's like I got a lot on the line for it, for myself, and it's just 2 laps to go. You want to win, and that's what I was raised to do, is win on a dirt bike, and I'm going to take the shot if it was there, and he left the door open. And it wasn't, if you really watch it back, it wasn't like a horrible, dirty move. I just kind of tapped him, and he went over the berm, and a little unfortunate. It looked like he got stuck. I was like, there's no way he's stuck. I'm like, I'm going to win the championship right now. It's kind of crazy to me. Obviously, it's not the way you want to win it, but it's racing. That's how it goes, and definitely will do anything to win.
Karaya.
Karaya with Moto Legacy's book series. This is for all three of you guys. Were the results tonight what you guys expected?
Yeah, I kind of, honestly, I had a chip on my shoulder. I needed to win. And as fast as I go up the practice track these last few weeks and how good I felt, it's like stuff wasn't clicking at the race the proper way. And finally it was like just dig in and pit the race together in the heat race and was able to win. So that was a good chip to get off the shoulder.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Chip on the shoulder. It's been a rough couple weeks for me.
and I felt like what I was doing during the week, it just wasn't translating. So, yeah, I had to come out tonight and perform, and I think I did that.
Yeah, it felt good. Had a good couple weeks after Philly, and always knew I could podium. And no, it was good. Feel like I was riding good all day, and obviously wanted to have a better start. Didn't have quite the best, but I didn't even know I was running third until I think a lap to go. So it was kind of a little bit of a surprise, but I always knew I was a top 3 guy this season. So to finally have back-to-back West Coast podiums, pretty happy with that.
Jace.
Deegs, mate, now that you've won the championship, the first part of the series was definitely more of a struggle than I personally anticipated. I'm wondering if it was more of a struggle than you thought it would be, and now that you've won and now that you can open up about that. Like, how hard was that initial part, and was there a little bit of maybe self-doubt that crept in and you really kind of had to grind through that to get to this point?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my goal this season was just to be as consistent as I can, and I think I've podiumed the last 8 rounds, and that was the goal. I definitely want to win, but my thing was let's just stay consistent, because that's how you win these 250 SX titles, is just being on the podium every weekend, and that's what ended up happening. But there was definitely, I mean, at the beginning of the season, it was pissing me off how I was riding, and just the speed wasn't there, and eventually, you know, just the days were getting better at the practice track, everything was adding up, and it was working. But yeah, now we got the championship done. We got 1 round left. So if any of those East guys want to slide me some money, I'm down. No, I'm just kidding.
Jamie.
Jamie Guida, Vital Mix. My question's for Julian Beaumer. We talked briefly yesterday, and you said you kind of feel like you're back to your normal self. So can you kind of update us on your maybe mid-season, I don't want to use the word slump, but I guess that's the best way to describe it, like maybe what you've been going through and how you feel now?
Yeah, I mean, my riding the last couple weeks showed pretty much nothing. And I think for me, it took the ass beating in Philly to really realize that I need to look at myself in the mirror and figure something out. So yeah, after Philly, looked myself in the mirror and went to work.
Jason Wygant.
Yeah, for you, Juju, the qualifying was great, and then the heat race, that was a bad start, or could you describe the incident there, and did that lead to a bad gate pick, and did that affect your start in the main? Because it looks like that's where your night kind of came undone.
Yeah, I was trying to start second gear all day, and I did it in the heat race. Didn't get a great start, and then I went down on lap 1, tucked the front. So 6, wasn't a great gate pick, but I switched to first gear start on the sight lap for the main event, so I kind of just winged it and kind of prayed a little bit. But my start was better in the main than it was in the heat race and qualifying all day, so I guess it was a good move.
Dan.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports for Garrett. Podiums in 2 of the last 3 races. Next week is arguably going to be a little more difficult with the 250 East guys in there battling for their championship. But can you walk us through some of the emotions of how you've improved, how you've got to where you are from the very beginning of the season?
Yeah, the beginning I felt really good. The first part of the year, obviously the results weren't showing, but after my practice crash after San Diego, I was dealing with a shoulder injury for quite some time. Finally, once I got the 100% during the break after, I want to say it was Indy, really started to feel good. I switched trainers, started to work with Brock Tickle. We really worked on a lot of technique stuff, and didn't really realize I was lacking that much stuff until we started working together. So we really started to make a lot of gains, and yeah, Seattle was a big jump for me to get back on the box. And, yeah, I feel like the last 6 weeks has really been a big jump. And to get 2 podiums back-to-back has been really good. I'm really pumped with that. And just keep building the momentum in the outdoors, too.
Kellen.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. Julian, for you, this is your second full year racing Supercross. And this year you got to be kind of in a title fight. Just take us through, like, the things that you learned this year that you're hoping to kind of use next year to actually make a full run at this championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously first time in this position, so it was a learning curve. I think I just struggled a little bit. Obviously, when we went east, I wasn't great in the ruts in the beginning, and I think I got frustrated too quick. So I got frustrated, and I was kind of beating myself up in a sense. So yeah, I just focus on those things, get better in the ruts, and just try and come back for this title next year.
Jamie.
Again, Jamie Guida, Vital Mix. Hey, and you touched on a little bit ago, you and Cole are cool, but when racing's business. But you also have said before, like with Julian and Levi, like you were cool until you start beating me and getting wins. Can you see some tension brewing at some point with you and Cole, just because he is pretty damn fast?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to, make a rival out of him because, I got to train with him every week. So it's more of just kind of making a statement that I can win. And that was my big thing, was just he was in front. So, like, I'm going to catch him and pass him. And that was, like, the big thing to kind of put the statement that I'm still the fastest in Supercross on the 250. And, I mean, I feel like I did that, caught him towards the end. They were sprinting pretty good at the beginning, so I had to pick it up in the middle. I was like, damn, these guys are moving. But, yeah, we picked it up. And, yeah, I try not to make it too much of a rival because we got a trainer in the week. But, I mean, we're racing. He wants to win. I want to win. It's going to happen. It's how it is.
Johnny.
Again, this is Johnny with MX Unfiltered. This is actually a question for the panel. Each and every one of those motorcycles are geared with a traction control setting for slippery conditions. Did you guys have any sort of a different setting to retard the bikes because of how slippery it was?
I just ran my bike. I mean, they do a little different gearing change for the altitude, but besides that, I didn't run any traction control. We were going to try something in the whoops, because we know it gets slick, but we just ran it normal because, I mean, you're already down on power, so let that thing eat.
Yeah, same bike. Nothing different.
Yeah, the only thing we changed was sprocket, so that was about it.
Anyone else here in the room? We'll open it up to our online media, if not. Okay, we're going to turn it over to our online media and welcome them in, starting with Alex Gobert.
Yeah, thanks, Alex Gobert, motoonline.com. For Hayden, how important was it for you to deliver on the expectation to become a Supercross champion, especially at this point in your career?
Yeah, definitely. It was, I know this like preseason stuff, and even during this season, I just wanted it so bad. Like, I've gotten second twice now, and that rubs you the wrong way. And especially how good I was in outdoors and SMX, where I won by like 60 points in outdoors. I was like, now it's time to go win that Supercross title. And that was kind of the thing. I mean, I really was working hard for the Supercross title. I mean, my speed and stuff like wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I was working hard, and I do have a lot of things I need to work on too and get better at for next year. But I'm just amped to get this.
Brent.
Yeah, Brent Bowser, Whiskey Throttle Media. My question's for Hayden. Hayden, now that you have the championship wrapped up, going in the outdoors, I'm not sure how much time you spent testing for outdoors or getting ready, but now that you got locked up a week early, are you able to spend more time on outdoors, and how do you feel like the outdoor prep's going?
Yeah, outdoors, it's honestly the best I've ever felt. I've been riding really well, and got my bike set up good, and I'm excited for outdoors. Every time I get on outdoors, I have a smile on my face, and then get back on Supercross, and it kind of goes away. But outdoors is just, I love it. It's like, it's my happy place, and I'm excited. Yeah, this week, since we got the title wrapped up, I'll probably focus on getting the bike more dialed in and doing those long Florida motos.
Nick.
Thanks, Haley. This is Nick from Winter State, y'all. I got a question for Hayden. Hey, Hayden Deegan, you've got the #1 helmet, the #1 trophy, the #1 tank top on. You won your championships in the 250, and you're not afraid to talk a little smack with all that. Is it time to talk smack in the 450 class?
That's wild. No, I'm gonna stick to talking crap in the 250 class. I love it. I think the more I talk, the more people. I have a really good fan base behind me and a lot of supporters, which I love. But I got a lot of people that don't like me, and that's what motivates me to get up in the morning at 6:30 and go grind every day. So this is why I talk. It motivates me, and it has these haters motivate me too, and that's what builds me. But right now, 250s is what we're focused on.
Jace.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I was going to kind of ask about the 450 plans. Does this win of this championship kind of solidify what you're going to do next year? Like, could we see you move up to a 450 sooner than later because of winning this championship?
Yeah, I mean, definitely this championship was kind of going to be the talk of when I was going to go to a 450 because now I got to move up. But I'm not really sure. I'm going to probably get on it soon, start filling that thing out, and we'll see how it goes. But as of now, just Supercross and outdoors on a 250.
Last call. Any more questions from the room? Great. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. We'll see you next weekend for the East-West Showdown in Salt Lake City. Hayden Deegan, Julian Beaumaire, and Garrett Marchbanks.